The recording is available to you. Now, in addition, these sessions are intended for you guys, so they are open Q&A. So if I'm talking about something and you have a random question that's not to do with that topic, by all means, you can ask it. You can use the Q&A. You can use the chat on here. If you feel like your question is better suited asking verbally, by all means, go ahead and do it. These sessions are intended for you guys. So again, it could be related to your website. We talked about some things on that last week. It could be your CRM. It could be with your leads as well. Whether it has to be with a situation or what to do, or general things like searches and communication and filters and whatever it is that you find may be beneficial. And again, there is no question here that it wouldn't benefit anyone else in the group. I find that some of us don't know what questions to ask, and sometimes someone just needs to start talking about a question in order to kind of spike something that's worthwhile that maybe you have forgotten that you wanted to learn how to do. So what I like to typically do is, as I'm waiting for you guys to ask questions, just kind of start somewhere in the system. It can, of course, peak some questions to arise from the group. Now, in your dashboard here, one of the things that a lot of us like to kind of get accustomed to or take advantage of is e-campaigns, because it is a method that we can utilize to stay in touch with our contacts and keep ourselves top of mind. And it is something that's commonly asked amongst individuals is about the campaigns and, whether it's campaigns, mass emailing, texting, things like that. So inside your lead, you do have the ability to manually add, assign campaigns to them. So in the e-campaign section here, when you go to the select campaigns, what you're going to be looking for is you're going to notice that there is some legacy campaigns or some new systems campaigns. What you're going to be utilizing prominently is the new user campaign. So those are the campaigns that are built inside the system. So you should all have several campaigns already found in there that you can utilize from campaigns that you can use for new incoming leads. So if you wanted to switch from one that's currently on your leads to a different one, to campaigns that are meant for more or less just nurturing. So we have like an educational sellers or buyers campaign, which are really just emails that go with generalized information. So that's how you would essentially, if you wanted to add a campaign to an individual while you're on the campaign or on a lead, and that would be manually done. Now, there is ways to have your campaigns so that they are automatically assigned to your leads. So whether it's based on a specific tag that you apply to your lead, you can do it so it's, once they hit a specific pipeline, a certain trigger actions on them. It could be based on the type of lead. It could be based on who the lead is assigned to, and a combination of all those things. You can be quite specific as to what might trigger a campaign. Those similar features can also be what stops the campaign automatically. So we have like the pipeline status, for example, the new leads that you have coming in, they're all put on campaigns that are intended to just get that lead to reply to you. And that's the goal of that campaign, so you can carry on a conversation. Once that pipeline moves to make contact on any of those new leads you have, that's what's triggering that campaign to stop. It served its purpose. The campaign will automatically stop on that lead. You can also stop campaigns based on a tag that you may apply to them as well. Now, as far as campaigns go, they do go into the settings over here and into your campaign, because some of us may want to look to see what campaigns are actually being utilized, or perhaps we may want to create a campaign or just edit a campaign that's currently running. To find and locate the campaigns that are currently being used for auto assignment, you can filter them out by here. Most of you should have, the standard campaigns that are in here, between 20 and 25 different campaigns that are automatically set up. But you can choose which ones are being really simply by selecting the auto assignment filter on and to get the CRM that's in it. As you can see, it's taking a little bit longer than it should for that to reload. All right, so now it's gone and we see that the auto assignment is in place, and there's 6 campaigns that are currently being utilized or utilizing the auto assignment feature. And we can see how they're being auto assigned. So these are, a lot of these are just examples for yours. Many of you are going to have the buyer app link with or without sold. You will have a seller one, a rental one, and in some cases of you will have the first time buyer one as well. Now, when we click on the auto assignment, it's going to tell you how that lead is being assigned or the campaign is being assigned. And so basically, for this specific campaign, it's really anyone that comes in with a lead type as home buyer. So that's somebody that's coming in through your website, looking at listings for sale, right? Just, the rental one is the leads that come in as rental leads. The sellers are the ones that come in as seller leads, and that's how those auto assignments work. Now, if at any time you wanted to check out this campaign and see, perhaps edit, modify things, to add content, add emails to it, you definitely can do that. So it kind of brings you that breakdown of this campaign and essentially what it looks like. Now, if we wanted to take a look at, let's say, this text message here, maybe modify it, it's once we click on it, you're going to see that the text message that's intended to go out there. And of course, you can edit it right here, what you may want it to say. Now, with any of the text messages or emails, we do have the ability to make some adjustments. So we can have stopping clauses on individual actions. So if we want, only this message to go out if, let's say, we haven't made nothing's changed within the lead, we can keep it as is. So in this case, you can see there's nothing to stop. But let's say this message, I don't want this message to go out if I've actually made contact with somebody or kind of moved them through the process. So I can do that on an individual action. And what that means is that the campaign will continue to run, but if the person that this campaign is assigned to, their pipeline is on made contact any further, the system will just skip that one action and carry on with the rest of the campaign as per usual. Now, you can also do that with a tag as well. Again, it would just skip over that action if a specific tag or tags are applied to your lead. Now, the delay period on any of these are always after the previous action. So maybe you wanted to space these out further, make them a little closer together as far as when they action. So let's say this one here goes 1 week after the previous. So this one here is going 1 week after the previous text message. Maybe I want this one to go out, let's say 2 weeks after this message. You can definitely do that. And we can also include those silent hours. So silent hours, because you're doing text messaging, it's just a safety net. Typically, if you have one of your text messages as between silent hours, typically speaking, the next are going to follow suit. So it's always kind of within that 24-hour window. So if a text message goes out at 9 today and the next one's supposed to go out 1 day later, it's typically going to go out at 9 the next day. But if you wanted to have that safety net, what this does is basically prevents the text messages going out between certain hours. So if you don't want to be on your phone in the evening replying to text messages, things like that, you can set your silent hours. So you can say, from 8:30 p.m. to, let's say, 9:30 a.m. I went the other way. I should have went to 9:30 a.m. Then these text messages would not go out, right? So even if it's part of a campaign and the lead signs up and the text messages are set to a certain schedule, this text message wouldn't go out between those hours. It would actually go out if, let's say, a lead came in and the text message was supposed to go out, let's say, at 10 o'clock at night. It would hold that text message until 9:30 in the Zoom as per usual. So that is how you can add a text message. Now, some of your text messages, if we look at, the first one, for example, have short codes in them. Okay, so the short code is what's going to automatically pull data based on this system. So whether it's a leads to contact's name, for example, could be with respect to your website. So this is a good one here, which will showcase the lead visited website, essentially. So this is the website that they registered on. Just an example, this is the link for them to download the AgentLocator app that's associated with their account. And then the second one also is going to kind of point out where they're looking for a home. So, you know, the types of homes that they're looking at, the most city that they're looking at homes at. And again, this here is typed out the name, but there is, of course, short code for like agent names. If you have more than one agent on the team, we would use a short code for sure, which is like agent first name, agent last name, if you wish, which then automatically pulls the name of the agent that is sending this text message. So just bear in mind that you can click on this little icon here and short codes will pop up. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit or a bit just because I'm on a higher resolution. So when you click on it, you'll be able to see, you know, and kind of hover over it, what these are. You can just simply copy these if you wish to, and then just paste it in there. Right? So if I was to just do that, that's where that would kind of post in there. So this is automatically going to pull data based on your information, the leads information, the leads activity, and so on. Now, short codes are case sensitive, so that's something to be wary of. So if you're going in and you're editing in here and you're like, oh, shoot, I deleted something, if you're putting it back and it's just remembering that they are case sensitive, and the only one that isn't is the app link one. It's kind of all over the place, but when you look at these ones, all of the first letters are all capitalized, so they have to be like that. If I had this as a lowercase t, just as an example, this would actually go out saying all property types. So just so that you are aware if you are changing any of that. And if at any time with these campaigns as well, you wanted to add actions, you're just clicking on the plus sign. So you can click on the plus sign. This one here, I have to save it because I didn't save it. But if we click on the plus sign anywhere, you can add an action in between. So whether it's an email, maybe you want to have another SMS or assign it to a different campaign, you have that ability to do so within the campaigns here. And then, of course, you have auto assignment. So this is where you're telling the system how we're automatically going to assign this campaign. And you have two options for this with the auto assignment. This one here is set to only at registration and imports, meaning this is at somebody the time they come into your CRM system. It can't be any time thereafter. So these are essentially new leads. Now, in this case, again, if somebody comes in as a home buyer, they're going to be assigned to this campaign. But we can also specify, you know, maybe you have different websites. So you have this specific website. For example, you could select a specific website that comes as a home buyer. Then they get put on this campaign, because you might have different campaigns that you're using depending on where or how they're registering. You also may have different campaigns that you may want to utilize for different individuals. So perhaps maybe you have a partnership and both of you want to kind of have different campaigns. You don't want to be sending the same things to your leads. You can have it so that the campaigns are different, and that, you know, maybe any home buyer leads, but they also have to belong to that specific agent in order for this specific campaign to action. So again, there's a variety of different ways our team can definitely assist if you're stuck on your auto assignment, how you want that to work. Always is meaning at any time. So whether it's at registration or any time thereafter. Okay, so if we switch this to always, then basically at any time a lead is in my system and whether they register and they come in as a home buyer, or if, let's say I had an existing lead in my system that didn't have a lead type put on them yet, and I decided to throw that home buyer lead type on them, this would also trigger the campaign. Tags is a good one. So some people will have tags trigger campaigns. So if any of you have that first time buyers campaign, that one is automatically triggered at any time that a lead comes into your system or you apply the tag first time home buyer. That's what's triggering that campaign. So you can have a variety of different campaigns that may trigger based on various situations. So, maybe you have a campaign, maybe you work closely with a mortgage agent or not, but you have a campaign that's kind of surrounding or some information, a few actions, emails that have to do with the importance of getting a pre-approval, right? So then you can have it so that the tag that is, needs pre-approval, that one is what triggers. So if you put a tag on somebody that they need a pre-approval, or they register and they're filling out your questionnaire indicating that they still need a pre-approval, that would trigger that campaign. So you can create some, fair bit of automation within the system and the campaigns that are available to you. Now, of course, in addition to the campaigns that are all here ready for you to use, and again, anytime you are using a campaign, please go through the campaign, see what's being said to your leads, see what's being put into those emails, because there's nothing worse than getting caught off guard with somebody requesting information that you didn't know was being offered through a campaign, or perhaps it's not how you would want to communicate with your leads. So especially with the educational buyers and sellers, you may want to tweak those emails, a little bit differently to come across from a nature of how you would typically communicate with somebody that you're prospecting. Now, you, of course, can create campaigns in here. So when we do create campaigns, there's no limit on the amount of campaigns that you create. You give your campaign a name. You would create your campaign as either a relative or a fixed date campaign. So a relative date is similar to what we were just looking at. It's relative to when we assign the campaign. Each date, falls so many days after another, that sort of thing. A fixed date means that this campaign has a fixed date for each action. So each email or text message goes out on a date that you specify it's going to go out on. The best way to kind of indicate what a fixed date campaign would be is like a holiday campaign, right? So if we wanted to make a holiday campaign, so a lot of us, especially with Christmas coming up and all the other holidays that are coming up, we tend to like to send out emails, blast our databases with, Merry Christmas, things like that. You can essentially create a campaign that does that for you. So if you spent, a little bit of time, fixed date, you could have, a Christmas email go out on Christmas. You could have a Valentine's Day email go out on Valentine's Day. You can have Easter go out on Easter, and so on, because you're specifying the exact date that each action. So you can build this out, spend some time. Essentially, perhaps, maybe you want to build it for all of 2024, 2025, 2026, who knows? You go through and you just add them all. You can have it so that every lead that comes into your system is automatically assigned to your holiday campaign. So you don't ever have to remember again on all those individuals to send out some form of communication. You've already set that up for yourself for the next year or two or three ahead of time. So that's what the fixed date is. And you can have your stopping clauses on the entire campaign, meaning that if you apply a specific tag or pipeline status is met, the entire campaign stops regardless of individual actions. You have those silent hours, and you have the ability to action and execute your campaigns only on business days as well. So if you don't want them going out on weekends or holidays, they will not. Another great feature that we have is the ability to clone a campaign. So in some cases, there may be a campaign that you create, maybe it's specific to a property that you're advertising, and you need to want to create that same campaign, but obviously mention a different property, maybe change one of the emails around, whatever it might be. You can clone the campaign. Or maybe you want to kind of do a split test where you're taking that new buyer campaign and half of the leads you're assigning as if, half of them you're assigning as a modified version. Again, you can basically take any campaign and clone it. It'll just recreate that campaign. You can then modify each action and the entire campaign how you see fit. So that's a quick and easy way to replicate a campaign and just make some quick tweaks without having to essentially, recreate or modify the whole campaign without affecting the existing and current campaign. Does anyone have any questions in here with respect to the campaigns, whether it's like, you know, in the campaigns overview section, on the leads, signing those campaigns, stopping the campaign, need to stop. You do, of course, just to show you, I'm just going to look to see this individual should have a campaign assigned to them. So you're always able to see, again, the campaigns that are assigned to your lead. When we click on the campaign itself, the page will expand and lets you see the actions. Okay? You can also see preview the content that's going to go out. You can prevent it from going out by stopping it. So if I wanted this action to not go out on somebody, I can stop that specific option or action from actioning on the lead. I can also force an action. So if I wanted this one to go out right now instead of January 1st or 3rd, let's say, I can make it go out right away. Decides to go. We can take a look at that here. You see it's pending. It just went out. Now, one thing to be careful of, and some people have done it, is these forced out of stop. That's going to stop the entire campaign. Okay? If I click this force, it's going to force the entire campaign all at once, meaning that every single text message is going to go out right now. So just be wary that that exists and that it is there. Hassan is asking, can we create such a template for a monthly newsletter for customer clients providing tips on current market and buyer seller educational matters? Yes, you could essentially through your email templates. And then that would just be something that you modify every month. So I'll go into that in just one moment here. So that's a campaign in here. Again, we can assign campaigns, we can stop campaigns, we can force actions in campaigns to go out and so on. Now, as we go to the home page, you do also have the ability to mass assign your campaigns as well. So perhaps you do have, maybe you go ahead and you do create a holiday campaign and you now want to send it to, you know, assign it to everyone that's already existing in your database. You would just select here, for example, like this way, or you, if it's maybe not everyone, you can select all your contacts. You can select columns, individuals, what have you. Now, on the apply actions, you do have the ability to assign a campaign as well. So you can choose a campaign that you want to assign to everyone in your database. If you're looking to stop a campaign, so perhaps you created a campaign, you want to stop that specific campaign from running on all the leads that it's currently on, you can go and you can mass action. You do have to filter out your leads to be you know, have a specific campaign on them first and foremost. So you would use the filter item for the campaigns and then find all the people on a specific campaign before you can actually stop a specific campaign, of course. Yes, the matter. So the education, yes, the matter uploaded thus will be current and hence the modification. Yeah, so basically, so going into those templates, so in your settings as well, you guys do have that ability to edit and create email templates. You do have several in here which you can filter through. Yours probably doesn't look like this much, but you do have a fair bit in there. You can, of course, pull up emails based on category. You can do it by search criteria. So if you know there's a content in there, right, that you're looking for a specific keyword to pull it up. But you can, of course, create a template. So if we were creating a template in here, I'm just going to click on the edit option. Let's pretend this was the template email. You can just copy all of this, right? So we can just copy all this. So if we don't want this specific email to disappear, we want it to stay there. We want to keep track of those newsletters we're sending out. We can just copy all of this, go back to the emails. create a new one, and we could essentially just paste it in there if we wish to. We wish to do that. Now we do also, of course, you have the ability to, once it's in here, to modify. So then we can change the content in the email itself. Now, John, you have your hand up, so I will allow you to talk. Imagine you have a question in here.
Unrelated to the topic what you're talking about, I just want to know how to get updates notification when the lead is looking at the properties and when they sign up on my website.
Sure. Yeah, I can definitely run through that in, right after I finish this, I'll show you how you can update your alert section so that you can get alerted, because that is important. So with here, of course, when you guys are creating email templates in here, you can, of course, create tables. So I did have this table I just threw in there. You guys can most definitely do that, right? So you can create a table if you want to have like 2 columns, things like that. Now we do also have the ability to have and edit the table properties as well. So if we have the cell properties, we have the ability to also, have a background border color. If we want a border color, if there is one or no border, we can have fills in here as well. So if we want the background color to be a certain color, we can definitely do that and change it as we see fit. So that would take this whole back area then. So that would be one thing for like if you had a banner, kind of like what I have here. The topic of the email, we may want this one to have a cell property. So instead of just the text being highlighted, maybe we want the whole background, being that teal color, and throwing it in there. Obviously, we would take this highlight off if we would do that. But we can change the size of these and so on. And then, of course, throw images in here. So you can create like little containers as well. If you do have so one thing that some of you guys do have is alternate systems that send out email. So you might use MailChimp, or some of you use Constant Contact for email newsletters and things like that. What you can actually do, and in most cases it will work, not all, is send an email to yourself. So if there is an email that you're sending to your databases from those systems and you want to be able to recreate that email, or maybe you received an email from somebody and you really like the formatting of it, you can typically take that email, copy the entire contents of it, and paste it in here. So you do the short keyboard controls like Control V to paste it in here. When you do that, the program or the editor here typically takes on all the div containers. So all the formatting of the email is often carried over. So then you're just left with the different fields that you'd be changing, because there might be an image there that now you want to change, and the content you now want to change, and so on. So it's all there set up for you. It's just a matter of going in and editing that information and so on. I don't think I have any emails that I've received lately that are of that nature that I could show you guys, or if I have, I've deleted them all. But that's one way to try it out as well. If you do have something that maybe you've received or seen that you really like how it looks, but maybe that's not working, you can also reach out to our support team to see if they can recreate that template for you. They can create custom templates for you. They range, just depends on the complexity of that. So it could be anywhere from $20 for that template. I think the most that they ever charge is $40. And then it's just a matter of updating the content or copying and creating a new email each month in there. So I hope that somewhat answers your question, Hassan, because again, I can take this here and we can change, everything that's already existing in this template once we have it in here. I'm not sure if that's what go. background, if that's what you were looking for, or something different in here, again, because we can change, once we have the image, we can also go in and we can change that image. So this one here is telling me what image is there. 100% if we want these to be responsive for your image sizes. But if I want to change this image, I would simply just grab a new image from my computer. Okay? So if I wanted to throw, let's say, this one in there, I can throw that one. Obviously, it's not the right size for that space. We would then go in and we're going to change the size to 100% on that. And that's what's going to fit that space in here. And it's now 100%. But obviously the height isn't where we want it to, but the original one. So making sure if we are using multiple images like this is that we are resizing them first, so that they're all the same size originally going in, and then that way they stay the same size kind of going out of here. So a lot of different creative things that you can do in the back end here with respect to those email templates. Any questions surrounding that at all? Did that help with what you're looking for, Hassan? No. Okay, so nothing happened. So now we'll go into those alerts because I know John wanted to know. So we all can control how the system is notifying us in the system, and that is taken care of under our user profile and into the user preferences here. So we do typically have, and again, my screen is always zoomed in, so yours is going to look more like this, with the lead alerts up at the top. So the lead alerts is where we're going to get those notifications. Now, most of you should have yes, no, yes, 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 yes. Some of you may have changed it as your default on there. Your daily reminders about tasks, this is typically selected for not started, in progress, or waiting for somebody else. This basically, if you create a task on the day of that task being due, you do get an email in the morning letting you know of the tasks that are due or overdue on that day. And then this is essentially where we are getting our notifications. So do we want to get an alert when a lead registers or is assigned to us? Yes, we do. How do we want to get notified? By default, I believe this one is always email and SMS, but you may want to change how you are getting notified. This one here is when a lead becomes active after 4 hours. It's typically turned to no. And the reason behind this is simply we don't want it on for all your leads, because if you're not actioning the lead notifications, they're just going to get redundant and overlooked. Because every time a lead comes in the beginning, it's sweet. You've got leads, you're excited. Once you get to the point where you've got 500 leads, 1,000 leads, 5,000 leads, you're going to be getting a lot of those emails. And if you're not actioning those, emails, then you just start to ignore them, right? We just kind of ignore, and then we overlook possibly some of the other notifications that are actually important that we want to be looking at. So you can have this for on select leads, meaning that you can select the leads on the dash, like on their profile, that if you want to get alerted for that specific lead every time they're active, you can definitely do that. Now, a lead, when they look at a property 3 times, some of you may want to get that alerted, is set to yes. That could be, a variety of different reasons, allows you at least to look into it. Did they actually, did they look at that listing 3 times? Or how many photos did they view? Maybe it was just that the property didn't have any photos and they kept trying to get the photos to open, or they legitimately looked at it like 3, 4, 5, 6 times, which could indicate some level of interest in that property. Alert when a lead likes a property. So this is a good one if they're favoriting a property. Typically this is a good action when somebody does that. This could mean that they're a little more serious about their home search as well. Typically somebody that's just tire kicking, as many say, which are typically people that are just not ready to move just yet. But if somebody's liking a listing, they're typically, somebody that has a little bit more promise. So getting alert about that. If they become active after 30 days, so this is also a good one as well. It's because these are for your leads that have maybe have become a little bit dormant. They've been quiet for a bit. They haven't been active, and then all of a sudden they start looking at listings again, and that could indicate that they're back on track with their search, or things have shifted. Who knows? It gives you also a reason to even call and thank them. Hey, I just wanted to welcome you back. I noticed that you hadn't been looking at listings for a little while, and you're back today just browsing. I imagine how's the home search going. So another reason. So think of these as also reasons to call someone. For some of us, feel like we need a reason behind the purpose of the call. Now, the alert when a lead unsubscribes from email, yes, we do notify you of when a lead does unsubscribe. Again, this can fall back into your customer service as well. It is really determining why somebody unsubscribes. Right? It could be that there's so many different reasons. Some people don't know they're getting listings from multiple different sources, and they just start unsubscribing from everything. Right? Doesn't necessarily mean that they're not interested in receiving listings. They're just getting listings from too many people. Sometimes their plans change. So maybe they've put their search on hold for 6 to 12 months and don't want those listings. But it's good to know. You offer to scale back those listings for them, so they're getting them maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes these people have already purchased, which is also, dang it for you, but it's also a sign that there are good leads in your system that, we're potentially looking to buy something. So there's all different reasons. Again, we do encourage that you call these people and again, fall back onto your customer service to really figure out, why they unsubscribed. You can even call them if they recently unsubscribed, be like, hey, I noticed that you're online checking out some listings in this area, and then kind of loop back into, oh, it looks like you just, you recently unsubscribed from the listings. So you can play it at all different angles when it comes to those unsubscribes. You do get a notification if a lead does create a new search or updates an existing search. Again, so if an existing lead in your system creates another saved search on your website, and getting notified of that is ideal. And the reason behind that is some people before, or in some cases, will update their search, but instead of updating it, they create it as a new search. And then they create another one, or they modify it, create it as a new search. So they end up with having like 4 different searches on their account, all which are relatively similar to each other, which also means that they're also now receiving 4 emails a day from you, potentially. And they don't realize that they're doing this. So it's always a good idea if you notice that they've set up another search. Again, it allows you to go in there, see if both searches are actually necessary, or maybe you can modify one of the searches to include the additional information that they created in that additional search. Or again, another reason to call your leads and have a conversation with them in there. If they alert when they submit that qualifying questionnaire. So again, that's that questionnaire when they first sign up on your website that pops up. You do get an email, of course, with how they answered those questions. They are, again, of course, visible in the CRM as well. Now, all of these, you do have the ability to modify how you're notified. So some actions you may want to get notified through email, some actions you might want to get notified through SMS, and some you may want, through email and SMS. So everyone is different. Just make sure with the first notifications, just check your spam as well. Just make sure it's not in your junk folder. Mark them as safe so that you are seeing those emails coming in, but they should generally continue to come in. Perfect. All right. So, any questions, any additional questions with respect to the lead alert in here? Now, one thing that so we did kind of go over the reminders of tasks. You do get these through an email notification. You can also integrate your Google account so your tasks show up in your Google. Those Google have a direct link right into the account. Now, as some of you have saw in the campaign, now I caution all of you with respect to doing that, because what happens is we feel like we are going to do that. We are going to, okay, the task comes in, we're going to do all these things, but also is that the actions of the task don't actually get action. So you end up having all these tasks in the system. So I've gone in the system, there's 700 overdue tasks because at the end of the campaign, there was a call to lead task that no one would fulfill. And interact those, the tasks that were just accumulating. So we want to try to, with our tasks, so unless you're somebody that you have a diligent program, you work and you action it, and you're great at that, and you're by harmony effective for you and it works, then do it. Sorry guys, my internet seemed to back out on us here. So I'm not sure where it cut you out, but basically it's just precaution you on the tasks, because you'll end up with so many tasks that are overdue or not action just because you're overwhelmed now with the things that you have to do. So trying to keep those tasks that you actually create on leads to be specific tasks are high importance so that they really do stand out to you. They're not just several tasks that you've assigned to all of your leads to follow up. And that's more importantly why we utilize the filters feature in the system, is because if we're going to be in here, it's going to be a lot faster to action your filters than it is to go through an action task in your system. So you'll get through way more contacts, and a lot of the times we feel like we're accomplishing something because I'll see it. Other trainers will see it, and over time, we feel like we're fulfilling something in the moment. Right? We have a lead open, we call them, maybe they don't answer, and I apologize, you guys. It's my internet that's being really iffy. But we feel like we're accomplishing. Maybe we called our lead, they didn't answer. We task them to follow up and to try them again, let's say, right? We feel like we're doing something, we're acting, we're being proactive. Until we go and we have a list of all these people that we haven't actioned their tasks, right? And that's exactly why we have filters in place, is it's going to be a lot faster when we call them, they don't answer, to just check your filters, because they're all going to fall into your call filters. Some of you have the 1, 2, 3. We're clearing those out daily. Those are all the people that we've either talked to or haven't had enough conversation to mark their lead rating and their pipeline. Some of you will have the other filters, which is on number 1, 2, 3. They're essentially the same idea, which is we're trying to get a hold of that new lead, right? And as long as we're logging our calls in the system, the filters will produce who you need to be contacting next based on your logging of calls, right? So that's one of the reasons why we push log, because as long as we do that one simple thing, the system's going to tell us when to call that person again. So tagging, calling, logging, texting, all of that, the system will tell you what to do without having to create tasks. So then you can leave those tasks to be those things that are of high importance, things that you want to stand out. Maybe this test lead was, we have a follow-up scheduled through filters perhaps, but maybe we also create a task because we really want to make sure that that individual doesn't slip through the cracks, that we really fulfill that task because there's great promise in them. So that is your alert. So I hope that that helped you out. You do, of course, have that integration. So if you are using tasks and you do use Google, those tasks will show up as calendar events during the time and day that you select the task for. It will have the details to the task as well as a link right into the lead. So if you're not at your desk, you do get those push notifications on your cell phones when you have meetings coming up. It'll be there, so you can still action those things on the go through even the AgentLocator, the app, so the CRM app that you guys all have access to, or text them right from the app if you are not at a desk where you can do that on the fly. Now, Hassan, you had said that you hear about your audio. It's because I did not give you the ability to talk. I can definitely give you the ability to talk. Just give me 1 minute here. There we go. You just have to unmute yourself, Hassan. And I believe we're kind of going back into the email templates. Again, if anyone has any questions surrounding anything that we're reviewing or just anything in general, by all means, just ask your questions in the chat, the Q&A, raise your hand if you wish to talk. And again, with those email templates, you guys can blast. So if you are creating an email template in here, perhaps the holiday campaign does not show up on the list. The holiday campaign does not exist, Gaurav. That is something that you would need to create. AgentLocator does not have one. I was going through how you could potentially create a holiday campaign for your leads in your system. That's something that we have not. We could potentially put something together that's very baseline, but there's as kind of like a starting point. But as we all know, there's so many different holidays out there, religious holidays. Some people I know I talked to, they wanted to create different versions based on people's, backgrounds and religions, so that they're not sending out, Christmas emails to somebody that they know doesn't celebrate Christmas. So we could definitely create a foundation of one, but it's still going to have to, in many cases, be modified and tweaked. And again, also we have American clients as well that celebrate so different holidays as well. So it would be a matter of creating that. Now I can show you the first steps of the holiday campaign, absolutely, on how to create that. And so when we go into our campaign template editor, we're going to go into create new. And again, sorry guys, it is my internet. It's a little slow. So we'll just name this, we'll call holiday campaign. In this case, we're doing a fixed date campaign, right? So a fixed date campaign. Now, because it's a holiday campaign, I can't imagine this being something that we would have a stopping clause on somebody, because regardless if they're, they bought with somebody else, or we sold them, or they're past client, or they put their search on hold, we still want to keep ourselves top of mind and touch base with them. So I don't see ourselves adding an actual stopping clause to these ones. So we're going to hit save on here. Then we're just building out our campaign, right? So the first thing we're going to do is hit this plus sign, and let's say this is an email that we want to go out. We're going to select the email that we're going to do. So I don't think there might be, there is some Christmas ones in here that you guys can toy around with. They do need to be edited 100%. So you can see broken images, but you can, if there is one in there, you can of course modify and change them, or replace the images and things like that. Most is the main agent assigned to the lead, but you can actually specify who the emails are coming from. But typically it's the sender, right? The person that's assigned to the lead. We can have those stopping clauses, which I don't believe we need. And then we would choose the execution date and time. So in this case, this is Christmas. This is a Christmas one. Maybe we want it to go out on the 24th. We don't necessarily want it to go on the 25th, or maybe you do. Entirely up to you. So we'll say the 24th, and we want this to go out at 12 p.m. And then we would save it. So then we have our first action, that there, the wishing you a Merry Christmas. That's going to go out on the 24th of December. Now, maybe we have another one, and we have another email. And let's just choose this one. I don't know if we have one. We do have Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Again, these are old. You don't need to edit them. Same idea. You can edit from here. You can edit content in here if you wish to. And then we would select the execution time. So in this case, it's going to be 2024, and that would be February 14th. And again, we can choose what time of the day we want that to go out at and save it. So that's essentially how you're creating your holiday campaign, is you're just going in. Now, of course, if the templates aren't here, you can modify these templates in here if you wish to. This is an image, so maybe we wanted to change this image to something else. You can edit in here, so if we wanted to change it, we can. We'll put my son who's on a pile of snow there. We can essentially change those, or we should be able to. Maybe it's not going to let me in here. Maybe it won't. Maybe the images don't, so maybe I'm incorrect on that one. Let's see if I change the image altogether. It doesn't seem to want to add images from this standpoint. So you would have to go into your editor. So if you're going into your template editor, so in your email, when you're using the search, just search, and I can quickly show you how to do that. For any emails that are holiday that may be existing that you may want to take a look at and edit, I'll show you how to do that in a second. But really all we're doing is adding them in based on date. Right, so it's pretty straightforward and simple. You know, with respect to that, again, some of the content is there that you can use and edit. Some you may want to be creating on your own. Now we can do, on this one, we can do an automatic assignment if we wanted to, because again, we be, you know, using this for anyone in our, wait for my net to kick in here. So now here we can do it, you know, always, it doesn't, you know, always, it doesn't really matter. And it can be really like anything. So we can choose anything or only at registration. It could be any, always has to, you have to specify. Basically you would have to select everything on anything. Most of them will have a lead type to them, or just like anyone that comes in from any source that's created, or anything that's assigned. So you can do it. So you know what, if their agent is any one of these people, which is basically everyone in your system, at any time, this campaign triggers. You can also just do it so when they're first registering, of course, it triggers as well, and just leave that as any. It doesn't matter what source, who the agent is, any of that. We just save this as at any time this campaign will trigger. When somebody registers in. And I hope that answers for quickly creating that. That's, you know, how you're creating the fixed date campaign. So there's other, you know, ways that you may want to use this in advance, things that you do on schedule. You know, maybe you want to schedule certain communications that go out to your content or your leads in your database, you know, beginning of the year. Yeah. The email campaigns, we can search for those ones in the templates. We can search for those. So if we use the search here, for example, and I type Christmas, you guys are going to be able to see those Merry Christmas here. Again, we can edit these emails, keep saying campaigns. The images are all broken. I believe that is likely just because of they were coming from a previous system and the images were never brought over. That's my only guess at why they wouldn't be working. We can, of course, change the image out. So this one, it should allow me to change the image out in here. Let's see. And again, it could just be slow. Maybe it's just slow because my internet's being slow. That is also a possibility.
Yes, internet is very slow. Your
Yeah.
voice sometimes becomes wavery.
Okay.
That's okay. That's okay.
I can tell it's slow. It's just there we go. Now it finally came in through. So again, we have that picture that kind of went in there. We would change the picture again. So again, making sure in here, we're changing this to 100%. If we are adding an image, this is going to make sure that the user, especially on their desktop or mobile, aren't having to scroll side to side when they're viewing that email. In here, we can change that to 100%. So it did go to 100%. This is the 100% size of that specific image. right? So again, this is a larger box, so we want to make sure that we were using more of course, something that is more of a panoramic photo that we'd be using in there. But that's essentially how you can do all that. And then of course you can replace the information in here, save it, or you can just create your own. You can upload an image, a nice little jiffy thing, a flashy thing that you're sending out to an individual, nice little email, whatever it might be that you're wanting to send your contacts in here. The title you can change as well. The title is for your reference. So the lead does not see this. Any contacts do not see this. Only you see this. So if you changed it, sometimes you'll see like edited. That means it's been edited. Or maybe you want to change, Merry Christmas to use, whatever it might be, or changing the subject. You have the ability to do all of those edits on your end. Perfect. Well, so that's something you guys can work on, really, because you do have that ability to create even quickly put together a holiday one. That's also something you can do too if you want to do it today, to set that the holiday one to go out. Maybe you don't have time to build out a whole Christmas campaign or holiday campaign right now. Maybe you just want to make sure that you're set for Christmas. You can do that through a campaign. So you can just do that fixed date campaign. It's the one action. It's the email, maybe the Happy New Year one that goes out a week later, with respect to all of that. And then, worry about the rest of the campaign afterwards, when you have time to do that, and so preoccupied with other things. But I hope everyone found something of use within today's webinar. Again, these sessions are intended for you guys. So whether it's something big, something small, you want to learn how to do it, you don't feel like it was necessary to have a full training session on something, then definitely you can ask those questions in here. Yes, Susan.
I just wanted to ask you, Crystal, that supposing on that, like you showed how to do that picture 100%. If I choose to have a banner, like any email, like going forward, I was thinking as I wrote about newsletters. So newsletters, I would prefer to have a banner each month, a different banner. So that would entice people. If the same banner is there, then it says, oh, it's the newsletter. So now going forward, like this is like holiday season. If I want to put up a big nice banner for holiday season, then nice big banner for wishing Happy New Year. If I do this accordingly, what is the best size for the banner, and how do you really choose the banner? If you choose a picture, can we do it 100% for a panoramic picture that I may have downloaded it from Google? Google is now again, something that you can reshare is available on Google. So I can choose one of those and then share it, or even I can click some good pictures with my own camera and use the panoramic and put it up here. So what is the ratio that I should have?
Your banner size, and I have this somewhere because it's going to be kind of like your, actually I might have one in here already.
Email.
On an email, they have, how they have the header. This one, I believe I have. No, I don't. I'll have to get back to you on that one. With respect to what the exact size is of that. Again, when we do 100%, it is going to constrain to the full dimension width of the email. But I'll ask our support team what the exact size would be.
And that size, that size, Crystal, should be adjustable. Like if one is viewing the email on computer, or if one is viewing the email on cell phone. It changes.
Yes, it changes. That's what the 100% is. It makes it responsive. So it changes the size depending on the screen that they're looking, the resolution they're looking at. Yeah.
Right.
Now, one thing actually with respect to the header, the banner size, one thing you'll notice when we click this question mark, there is the header video. So this right here, I don't know if it's this article. No, because that one doesn't exist. It's this one here. So in the settings, this one right here, if we were to watch this video, it'll actually go through the size of the video, or a size of that is of what it should be in there. I don't know if it's written. No, they didn't write it down. sometimes they have a script below it kind of indicating what is indicated, but I'll get an answer for you directly, Hassan, with respect to the size of those banners. And anyone else that wants to know, just let me know and I'll shoot you over what the size is of the banner. So if we are creating those email templates that you want to change. Now, you wouldn't do your header, Hassan. Yeah, don't do your header, because the header is what is going to go out on all the emails. So unless you want it to go out on all your emails, like every, like this month, this sort of thing, like, so for the month of December, I want my holiday one. And then the new, you know, in January, I want it updated and I want it to be more of like a, you know, a New Year's one. Then you would put in the header, because the header is often included in a lot of the emails that are going out anyway.
Oh, can't we choose from that mass email? See, regular email is a regular header, but for the mass email or specific email, is there no a setup for that email, that separate specific email, specific, there's no such thing? Or can't we? Oh, okay. It is
no, if you're sending, if you're sending just a day-to-day email, let's say you're clicking on a lead and you go to send them an email, the header is going to automatically be included.
But this is a point, nice point.
If you're sending a mass email, let's say, that's where in your email template, you're going to want to make sure. So for example, in here, we would want to include the email header in there. So that would be one of the, I guess, the agent data. The email header. Yeah, it's in the agent data. We would move that. We would put that in here so that it shows at the top of the email.
So precisely, we can do it like because this would be mass email and not a one-on-one. The mass email, for the mass, like newsletter is also mass email.
Yes.
Newsletter. So in mass email, we can change the header, not on a day-to-day email.
No. Well, when
we change here, it will not impact on a day-to-day.
It would impact, because once you have, so this email header is this short code. So if you change this email header, that's what's going here. It's also going to be what goes out in any individual email, right? So if I click on here to go send it out, the header is right there, right? So, so you might want to, if you're sending a mass email, is to, and you don't want to use the header, you want to have it customized for the season, that's when you would just throw in an image in there instead.
But then still we will have to, like, and before sending, we have to choose that we have to not send the other original header, but the new one. But
that's only a mass action.
But this is a nice opportunity for you to note it down and put it up to your, because you see nowadays, besides the regular email, it is quite likely that, you know, I have started already using another platform that I have, but it is that only used for birthday wishes and all that. So in that, you know, what we do is now that because of that taxes, mortgage rates going up, realtor prices, you know, the selling options, commercial one. So I have been doing a lot of vlog and also sending a separate emails using that because that, you know, is just recently it has been on a trial run. So I'm just trying and I'm doing that from there. But naturally, gradually, I'm going to just move here only, as I've always been here as a loyal person to you people. I will come here. And I was just thinking this could be a good opportunity for you to, like, you know, have, like, if you look at Accenture, where I used to work before, Accenture, whenever they send even now, I'm an alumni in there, even now they send email. Each time, if I want to have a good ties with my clients, then they would show a nice thick rope with a knot over it, you know, and they put up that good tie. So those kind of, you know, like visibly funny plus and very much impressive pictures, so that it makes people to read down below. And that was what I was thinking over here. Like whenever I do some email blast, like, you know, using mass email, I would go on, but then this will stop me, because if it is going on my regular email, because regular email is sending out every day, right, to my clients for who's looking for listings.
Yep, and that's why you would just add an image as a banner instead of using the email header in that case. That's all.
Oh, okay. So email header, we can stop it?
You can turn the email
Yeah.
header is just for like emails that we're sending out individually.
Right.
Right.
So we go to mass
we're
email
sending
and
a
we turn
mass,
off the header.
yeah, it shouldn't be there. So if I go, for example, here and want to send a mass email, you can see it's not there.
Oh,
right?
okay.
I have to then, pick a template that would have, so you can see how it has it in this one. If I wanted it, or if I don't want it, I just take it out. Right. So it's, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
It just
I
depends. It's
understand.
only,
Will you be helpful to create a small video on this and send me, or load it to the portal that
yeah,
you have, your
yeah,
favorite portal?
sure.
I call
I
it
can do that.
Crystal. I call it that portal. I call it as Crystal University. I have put that as my favorite.
All right, perfect. I will create a video for you, Hassan. I'll get the dimensions and I'll send
Awesome.
it.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you so
No
much.
problem. I'd like to thank everyone that was on today. Again, any questions, if you feel like you want to ask them prior to, you can always email me. Otherwise, we will be back here next Monday to continue with the Q&As. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and we'll see you all next week.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.